Hello. I just had to do this hangout for this subject matter. It's weird. I'll just see if anyone comes in. Got my new haircut. No bald spot. Let's see. Russian billionaire declares himself leader of new space station, Asgardia. I'm not kidding. A Russian billionaire has declared himself leader of a new space nation or country, and it will be called Asgardia. I need to get this news out to the world. Here we go. A Russian billionaire has held a lavish ceremony at a castle in Austria to declare himself leader of a new independent space nation called Asgardia. I'm not kidding you. This is all real. The self-funded event was held at the opulent Hofburg Palace in Vienna and included a choral performance of the national anthem, an official oath, and a video message from Russian cosmonaut Oleg Astromov on the International Space Station. This is all real. I'm not making this up. This is weird. What is Asgardia? Well, it goes on to explain Asgardia is the brainchild of Russian rocket scientist. Now wait for this. His name is Igor Ashurbeli. So he's going to be the god on the moon, Ashurbeli. He wants to be the first fully independent nation in space with its own government, virtual currency, justice system, and their own calendar, because the moon doesn't operate on the same cycle that the Earth does. So this is going to be on the moon, a nation called Asgardia. In 2016, Dr. Ashurbeli and a team of scientists, engineers and law experts unveiled a plan to establish an Asgardian colony on the moon and to build a series of special space platforms called space arcs where people can live. Who will live on Asgardia? At the moment, anyone at all can become a citizen of Asgardia, but Dr. Ashurbeli said he wants to attract the world's most creative minds and may eventually bring in a mandatory IQ test for potential Asgardians. That rules out 99% of boy. Sorry, you're staying on planet Earth. Now, if you think I'm kidding, listen to the next bit. More than 200,000 people have already signed up via the nation's, this is Asgardia, as a nation's website, including thousands of Australians. Crikey. But Dr. Ashurbeli wants to recruit a total population of about 150 million within the next 10 years. Apparently it's got a long way to go and there are many hurdles ahead of it, but Dr. Ashurbeli says has made some impressive progress since its inception. He did launch this, the nation's Asgardia, first satellite called Asgardia 1, last year, and plans to expand that to a constellation of satellites by 2019, which is next year. He's also established already a parliament made up of dozens of MPs who met for the first time ahead of the inauguration ceremony in Vienna. Is Dr. Ashurbeli paying for everything? And the answer is yes. He's a multi-billionaire. It says on their website, apparently the Asgardian website says, let's be very clear, every penny, every cent on Asgardia up to date and still for quite some months to come is the investment only of Dr. Ashurbeli. Not a single person, not a single company, not a single entity has spent a penny funding Asgardia. This is all funded from the resources of Dr. Ashurbeli. So what was the ceremony all about? Well, apparently Dr. Ashurbeli wants Asgardia to become an official member of the United Nations. Now, what he's saying is Asgardia is going to be its own country on the moon and wants to be partners with the United Nations. But it says to do so, it must first be a functioning state or government. He took the first steps towards becoming one by holding parliamentary elections in December last year. I didn't get to vote. And then later declaring himself head of a nation. It's not really like an election, was it? It's like, we all vote, but you'll be voting for me. The ceremony in Vienna, which was attended by hundreds of diplomats, scientists, engineers and law experts from around the world, officially confirmed his appointment as leader and showed the world that he was serious. There was even a cake and a commemorative coin created to mark the occasion. That'll sell well on eBay in a few years. After the ceremony, he said that the next step for Asgardia is to set up a Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a national bank. And he will be demanding his taxes, I imagine. This is funny as fuck, it really is. But it's all serious, it's all happening. I'm not making this up. Within the next 3 months, the government will be established, including the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, which will deal with diplomatic solutions to establish relations with a country on Earth. I am from Moon. I read that, VMAC. Once we have a certain number of bilateral agreements with Earth, following the UN rules, we will apply to become a member of the United Nations. Other important milestones will be the establishment of the nation's bank and production of the nation's currency. All this needs to be completed by the end of this year, 2018. He vowed Asgardia would be a reality in 25 years. Now you think I'm making this up. There's probably a story that I could make up which would sound like this, but this is real. This is the Russian billionaire. And like I say, I didn't kid you when I said what his name was. Let me find it again. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. I've got so many pages here. Anyway, so if you want to apply to live on the moon in your own new country of Asgardia, you have to get in quick, because 200,000 people have already signed up. Well, I would say it would never happen either, Maggie, but I did a bit of research. That satellite called Asgardia 1 did get sent up last year. This guy's serious. He may be a nutcase, but he's absolutely serious. Dr. Asher Bailey is the new god of the moon. Well, they'll have their own country. Not sure how they're going to work out their borders on the moon. They sort of land in the Sea of Tranquility and say, this is Asgardia. Maybe have border patrols. But yeah, I'm not kidding. This is a reality. It's really real. Dr. Asher Bailey is paying for everything. And he wants a total population in the end of 150 million people living in Asgardia on the moon. Might be a bit of a fight over water. Well, depends how much you can take up there with you. But he is serious, so if you want to look it up, you'll see the title, Asgardia. Just Google it. And I hope it's a hoax, but from what I'm reading and what I looked at, it's absolutely serious. They've formed a government already, diplomatically, but he's elected himself, well, said to everybody, you can be part of this government if I'm your leader. Is he going to ask for taxes? I don't know. But within 25 years, he vows this country on the moon called Asgardia will be a reality. So this is all privately funded by a multi-billionaire. I wonder if I should send him 5, 10, 20 or 50 or $100 million as a donation, because anything less would be an insult to him. Were there any constituents? Yes, the answer is yes. 200,000 of them, Maggie, either by satellite communication or actually in Vienna. They had this conference this week. Let's have a look. Tuesday. They had it on Tuesday. So this Russian billionaire, even though he may be batshit crazy, is actually doing this. There are things in place to send up many more satellites. Basically, it sounds very much like they're going to start their own space station around the moon and then build these so-called arcs on the moon. Now, none of that is unbelievable, because that's what other space networks are doing. The European Space Station, NASA, they're all planning to do something very similar on the moon. I just wonder whether it's actually legal to call yourself a country They're going to need an army. Well, Maggie, I reckon you could be the first Asgardian female general. You can sort them out. But isn't it weird what's going on? I mean, seriously, this guy is rigid serious about having his own country. He's now the leader. Even though he's on Earth, I wonder if we should tax him because he's staying illegally on the planet Earth. But apparently, in 25 years, there will be 150 million people with an IQ over a certain figure that rules most of us out at Point, but they'll be living on the moon. G'day, Shauna. Quick recap for those that just joined. Russian billionaire is creating a country on the moon. It will be called Asgardia. He's held elections here on Earth already, and he's been declared the leader, probably because he's got all the money. You know, if you sit around a big table and no one's got any money and he's got all the money and he says, who do you think we should elect? So it's him. He intends in the next year, in the next 12 months, one S, Shauna, take one S away. Google it for me, because I've done a bit of Googling. Asgardia. Well, yeah, I mean, Asgardia's got a few connotations from the past through many different things. But I've actually seen Asgardia in some space movies, as in a planet. Isn't it interesting, though? This guy's got so much money, and he's an old guy. If you Google him, he is Dr. Ashur Bailey, spelled A-S-H-U-R-B-E-Y-L-I. Dr. Ashur Bailey. And he's a multi-billionaire. I've already checked into that. And he did send a satellite into space last year, and he's talking about sending many more. And he's talking about this thing called space platforms. Doesn't go on to say whether it's going to be like a space station around the moon, but that's all I could see it being, because he's calling them space arcs, where people can live. And he's talking about clear, giant dome platforms. If you Google it, you'll see these fancy, colourful pictures of glass domes on the moon. But 200,000 people have already registered to be members of this country. Like an interesting passport, wouldn't it? I don't think you get to travel much on the moon, though. And 150 million people on the moon? Well, yeah, no, he probably hasn't learnt that they're flat, but then, Sean, I want to break this to you very carefully. It's round. I've been way up in the sky, and it's fucking round everywhere you look. Oh, dear. You're going to sit with this. Could be, and there's been a few people like this in the past. Can't take it. All right, the Earth's flat, Shauna, just for you, just for tonight. But I don't think people are going to take his money. He's big, he's really big. He's got like a lot of money. I don't know if he's the richest man on the planet, but he'd be damn close. Multi-billionaire. But it's got, look, I mean, what he's saying is being proposed by NASA and the European and the Chinese and the Indians. They're all talking about having stations on the moon. And there is water on the moon. It's just not an ocean of it. But, you know, if you think about what you have to do when you live in an environment like that, you will be recycling your own pee. So they might, let's say, you know, all the boat goes to the moon. Everyone's going to pee and they're going to recycle it. So they're going to take the piss out of you every day. Yeah, I agree. I've said that recently, Shauna. I believe that we're not entitled as a species to go to anywhere else because we fuck up everything we do. That's probably what's going to happen, Maggie. On the moon, you'll be issued with Walmart bags. But in Australia today, you're not allowed to get a Walmart bag type thing from a shop because they've just banned them all. So I don't know what someone will be doing in a van if there's no Walmart bags. Could be rather messy. But that's the latest news, and I'm not going to be on much longer, but it's true. If you've Googled it, Asgardia, and you had a look, To be certain, it'll be Armageddon for sure, VMAC. Can you imagine we first appoint Tucker Poon as president on the moon? If he did within 3 minutes, someone will pull the plug for sure. And no, I don't want to be nominated. But yeah, we're heading that way. Colonies on the moon, but this is a private enterprise by that Russian multi-billionaire. Have a look it up yourself. Tell me I'm not crazy. Well, probably am, but this is, for me, it was fascinating. I thought, well, tell people and see what they think. Living on the moon, I thought was going to be a collective of the planet's countries altogether. And I believe there is a statute in place at the moment where everyone's signed, where no one owns the moon and no one owns Mars. I'm pretty sure that statute is in place. Yeah, Shauna, that's good. We'll just be ambassadors to Earth. We'll stay here. I'll say, Tucker, it's your turn to go to the moon. You say, no, fuck that. Just tell them I'm coming and then tell them I got a cold. But it will happen. There'll be colonies on the moon. I've no doubt in my mind at all. But I think it will be just a platform for interstellar launching. I think it'll be easier to launch from the moon. Maybe we can get the materials to build the things we need to do long distance travel. But I already know some of the answers about people that live on the space station for over a year. You would have seen one of the twins that was up there, and he suffered pretty badly, and they're still doing ongoing tests between his twin who stayed on Earth and he who stayed over a year on the space station. One thing that gets us as soon as we leave this planet is radiation. No, that's not quite true, Maggie. The Antarctica was sliced up over 100 years ago, but there are treaties that say they can't do certain things, but that could end. They're talking about mining in Antarctica. But Russia's got a big slice, Australia's got a decent sized slice, the United States has got a slice, Europe's got a slice of Antarctica alone. But Shauna said it well and best earlier when she said we don't deserve to go to another planet. We don't. If we can't sort out the way that humanity and its frailty is run on Earth, why the hell would you go and do the same damage to another planet, even if being the moon? But that's the latest news. Breaking news. People of Boit, you can apply on that website called Asgardia to be a citizen of Asgardia and be in line to go and live on the moon. I imagine it's probably going to be a bit more than the price of a bus ticket to get there, but this guy's got a lot of money, and if you put, say the right words to him, Dr. Asher Biley, I find that quite funny, Asher Biley, that's his name. Yes, I'll be waving them off as well as you, Shauna, as they leave the planet. Good luck, dickheads. But do take a time and a moment to go and Google Asgardia, Asgardia. It's actually already a government. It really is. It could be the case, Maggie, but yeah, so there is a government of Asgardia, and they need to be in space or on the moon to actually apply to the United Nations to be accepted as a country. Do you think the United States is going to let this happen? First thing is, this guy's Russian, and a private enterprise taking over, well, not a planet, but the moon, which nobody owns. One would suggest that as soon as he looks like he's getting really serious, I think he'll be grounded, but everyone's entitled to dream, and this dream of Dr. Ashabali is to be the leader of the moon, let's be honest. The ruler of the moon, unquestionably, because it'll be the only country on the moon. So if you all want to go to that website of Asgardia and apply for citizenship, you can do right now, because 200,000 people have already done it. They are members, technically not quite a country yet, because they need to leave this planet and get to the moon, or the Ark space station they'll be building around the moon, and then they'll be accepted, and you'll probably have a passport from Asgardia. I don't think you'll be flying back to see Mum and Dad every weekend. One would imagine it might be a bit difficult, But have a look, Google it, Asgardia, Russian billionaire. And yeah, I just find it, when I saw the news article, I did a bit of research and I thought this has got to be a joke. But it ain't a joke. This guy is serious. Yes, that's what I first thought, Maggie. You know, what country are you from? Asses, abbreviation for Asgardia. But have a look it up, see what you think. And if you want to leave something in the comments or do your own video, if you want to become an ass on Asgardia, I kid you not, you can apply to be a citizen to this right now. Have I? No. I have enough trouble with the planet we're on. So I'll end it now, but I thought it was funny. Assalian. Yeah. Yeah, that could be another one. Come on, you guys can think up more than that. What would you call someone that lived on Asgardia who lived on the moon? Other than crazy. Asses. Asgardians. I suppose Asgardians would be the answer. Anyway, some of you over the other side of the planet, good morning to you. Have a great day. And I'm going to go to bed shortly. But I thought I'd share this, which I thought was absurd, but until I looked into it, and it's real.